back to our live at Much with Beyonce. We're sitting out here in the audience. Now, Beyonce, you've done the movies. You've done the movies. You've done The Flight of Temptations as well as Goldmember. But now you're on to Dream Girls. And I heard it's something you're very, very excited about.
I loved every second of being on that set. And I worked with so many talented people. I worked with Eddie Murphy and Danny Glover and Jamie Foxx and Jennifer Hudson. And it was the time of my life. I know there are certain moments where you just can't believe you're doing what you love, and you can't believe that you're given these opportunities. And on the set, you could just feel that it was magical, and it was going to be one of those moments in my life that is going to change my life and be unforgettable.
I've heard the movie described as, the director described it as a film about following your dreams and achieving them, but at the same time having to pull back because those dreams, the price is just too high to pay. And I wonder whether you have identified with that ever in your career. I
mean, there are certain things that are downfalls when, success, whenever you have success, there are downfalls, but that's just a part of life. And it doesn't matter if you are a singer or a lawyer, a doctor, that's just life. And it's just what you do with those trials and tribulations and how you use that as positive, ammunition. And I know that I've been pretty fortunate. I haven't had to go through a lot of crazy things because, like I said, I have kind of this wall around me. I'm surrounded, I'm protected from a lot of craziness.
You talk about the power of family and them being able to help you through that, but at the end of the day, that sort of thing comes down on you. So when all that kind of stuff is going on around you, what goes on in your head?
I just try to stay focused. I try to keep my eye on whatever I'm doing at the time and stay positive. I try not to waste my energy on negative things. And like I said, surround myself with people that make me want to be better and that don't talk negative about other people and that just don't really have negative vibes, because life is too short. And even when people have negative opinions about things that I do, I try not to focus on that. Everyone has their opinions, and I just try to stay as positive and happy as I can, because I know that I'm blessed and I know God has favor on my life. Thank you.
Dream Girls is, of course, loosely based on the Supremes. And if you look at Diana Ross's career, you guys have had very similar careers. I mean, both incredible talents in a group dynamic. A member left, down to 3, and then you broke out on your own and went solo. And I wonder, by studying her life, what was the most important lesson that you learned?
Well, the movie is loosely based on Diana Ross, and obviously the things that Zeta went through, Diana hasn't gone through all of those things. Only Diana knows what she's gone through, I'm sorry. And I think some of the things in our lives parallel, but I think that my life has been very different from Diana, and my career has been very different. And that was one thing that I was a little concerned with, that people would get that movie and the character confused with me, because we have very different personalities. And our group, the dynamic in Destiny's Child, we're best friends. We still support each other. I just saw Kelly yesterday that came to my party, and we decided, because we're growing up, not to do music anymore. And we could at any point because we love each other and we're friends. So our group is very different from the Dreams and Dream Girls. And it was really interesting playing someone that was so different from me. The performance style, I sang differently. Everything was kind of smaller and whispering, and I'm kind of the complete opposite on the stage. Everything is very big and strong and growl and ad-libs, and I'm, Sasha on the stage.
Diana Ross was an inspiration to women all over the world. She was also one of the first divas, and I've heard Diana refer to what her definition of a diva is.
Definitely is.
Mariah's talked about what her definition of a diva is, and I wonder, what is your definition of a diva?
I think diva is definitely a compliment. I think it is when it's on the stage, but off stage, I don't know if it's so much of a compliment. I think that it's important that you leave that on the stage, and when it's time to get off, you take the stilettos off and you go back in your dressing room, you're the same person that you've always been. And I do think it's a form of entertainment, and I think that people kind of live their fantasies when they see people on stage. So you have to be a diva. You have to be big. You have to be the thing that everybody dreams of being. But like I said, I keep that on stage.
What about the Beyonce off stage? We don't get to see that Beyonce ever, and I wonder, you're obviously not a diva off stage. Talk about that Beyonce.
Well, I'm kind of reserved. I love people. I love listening to people. I love playing Sudoku. I love food. I love being around my nephew. I love walking around barefoot. I'm just like everybody else, you know. No difference.
I've heard people refer, and I've heard you say that you feel like you were destined to play this role. And I wonder if, pardon the pun, if you believe in the idea of destiny, if you believe in the idea of fate.
Absolutely. I don't think it's a coincidence. I was born in '81. The movie went on Broadway in New York in 1981. And so was Jennifer Hudson. She was born in '81. And there's so many things in my life, when certain things are going on, you're thinking, why is this happening? And then maybe a year or two later, you realize this is why it happened. Everything in life is for a reason. And like I said, as long as you learn from those things, even when it's a hard time in your life, you realize you went through it because it only made you stronger and you got a great lesson out of it.
Do you feel like you are in control of that reasoning, or it's something else?
I do feel like you're in control somewhat. The people you choose to surround yourself with have a lot to do with your destiny. And the way you treat other people, I believe in karma. I know when you put out great energy, it comes back to you, which is why it's important not to talk negatively about people. And it's important to work hard, because when you work hard, it all comes back to you. And obviously, there's something bigger than all of us that is in control.
What do you think your biggest test of faith has been?
Hard times, whenever times are rough, whenever you're in the bed and you're feeling sad and you're crying, and or you're depressed, or whenever there's something really traumatic that happens, usually it tests your faith, and that's really when you know if you're a strong person. That's when you get to know yourself.
What's it like to go through that kind of stuff and then have to show face? Because I can walk down the street sobbing and crying if I really wanted to, but tough. Beyonce can't do that.
It's tough. I'll never forget when one of my favorite people in the world, he actually raised me, passed away. And he passed away, thank you. He passed away maybe when I was 16. And it was the first person that passed that I was really close to. So it was difficult for me. And our first single came out, and we were just starting to become recognized, and I was in a store and someone called me, and of course I wanted to bawl, but someone asked me for an autograph, and I just hung up the phone, and I had to kind of suck it up and sign it. And other people came, we signed autographs, and I kind of had to hold that in until I got in the car. And that happens. You have bad days, or you're sick, or you're tired, and everybody comes to see you, and they don't want to see the sick and tired person, so you kind of have to be on. But it's a part of my job, and it's one of the tough things that's a part of my job. But there are a lot of great things that come along with my job, and that's just, it wouldn't be reality if everything was great.